Sometimes, life brings together two people who were never supposed to meet. And sometimes, it happens at the exact moment one of them feels completely alone. That's what happened the night a tired single dad walked into a fancy restaurant he could barely afford only to find a billionaire heiress sitting alone, shaking, the whole room judging her. And when everyone turned away, he stepped forward and said the words that made the entire place go silent. "She's with me." Before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Your support helps our channel, your channel name, continue sharing inspiring kindness stories that lift hearts around the world. Ethan Reyes wasn't used to places like this: white tablecloths, sparkling floors, servers carrying plates that cost more than his grocery bill. He was a construction worker, a single father of an 8-year-old girl named Lily, and the last thing he expected was to be here on a Saturday night. But Lily had begged him for one fancy dinner, the kind she saw in the movies. And after a long few months of missed sleep, extra shifts, and doing everything he could to keep her smiling, he finally said yes. He walked in with his daughter's hand in his clothes simple, his boots worn, but his heart full. He expected a few curious looks, but not what happened next. At a table near the center of the room sat a young woman with long dark hair tied back neatly, wearing a stunning champagne-colored dress. But her eyes gave everything away. She wasn't enjoying a night out. She wasn't waiting for food. She was trying not to cry. A server stood stiffly beside her, hands clasped like he didn't know what to do. Two women at a nearby table whispered behind their menus. A man in a suit shook his head with that familiar expression: annoyed, impatient, judgmental. And then Ethan heard it. A shaky voice from her table. "I'm sorry. I don't feel well." The server tried again, gently. "Ma'am, if you're waiting for someone, perhaps we can." She cut him off, voice trembling. "I don't think he's coming." Ethan felt his daughter slowly tug his hand, leaning closer to whisper. "Daddy, she's sad." He nodded slowly. "Yeah, sweetheart, she is." He didn't know who the woman was. He didn't know why she was alone. But he recognized that look: fear mixed with shame. He had worn it himself the night his ex-wife left and never came back. Before he could even think it through, Ethan stepped forward. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked softly. The woman looked up, eyes wide, surprised anyone had dared to approach her. And before she could answer, the manager rushed over, lowering his voice but not enough to hide the irritation. "Sir, this is a private reservation. This table is for guests under Mr. Carver's account. Miss Carver is waiting for." Ethan blinked. Carver? As in the Carver family? The billionaire hotel chain. The name printed in gold on half the skyscrapers in the city. That explained the stares. That explained the judgment. And suddenly, the woman's loneliness made even more sense. Being wealthy didn't protect anyone from being hurt. If anything, it made people whisper louder. The woman opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Her hands shook as she tried to wipe tears she couldn't stop. Without a second thought, Ethan gently placed his hand on the back of her chair, not touching her, just steadying the moment, and said, with calm strength, "She's with me." The entire room froze. The manager blinked rapidly. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't realize." "You don't need to realize anything," Ethan said quietly. "She's a person. And she looks like she could use a moment." Lily peeked around her dad's leg and gave the woman a tiny smile. "Do you want to sit with us? We have extra chairs." Something inside the young heiress Ava Carver finally cracked. She let out a soft, shaky laugh that turned into a sob, pressing a hand over her mouth. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't want to cry here. I thought he would come." Ethan pulled out a chair. "You don't have to explain anything." And that was all it took. Ava sat with them. At first, Ava was quiet. She barely touched her water. But Lily, being Lily, kept asking sweet, curious questions, the kind kids ask when they see someone hurting. "Do you like coloring? What's your favorite food? Do you want a piece of my bread? It's really good. Ava smiled for the first time all night. Thank you, Lily. You're very kind. Ethan shrugged. She gets it from her mom, he said jokingly, and Lily giggled. When the food came, Ethan apologized softly. This isn't the night you planned. But you're welcome to stay with us. Ava really looked at him, and something in her expression shifted. You're the first person tonight who didn't treat me like a headline, she said. Ethan frowned. You're a person. That's enough. Slowly, Ava opened up. The man she was waiting for wasn't a date, he was her fiancé. Or at least, he had been. They had argued earlier that day. He told her she was too emotional, too dramatic, too soft. He said she embarrassed him. She came to dinner hoping he'd show up and apologize. Instead, he simply didn't come. Lily shook her head dramatically. That's mean. Daddy says nobody should ever make someone feel small. Ethan smiled gently. Your heart is worth more than his pride. Ava looked down, her eyes filling again. I don't know why it hurts so much. It hurts, Ethan said softly, because you cared. That's not a weakness. For the first time that night, Ava breathed deeply, as if releasing something heavy. After dinner, Ava insisted on paying, but Ethan raised a hand. No. Tonight isn't about money. It's about people. She looked at him like she hadn't heard something that genuine in years. Outside the restaurant, the cold air brushed against them. Ava buttoned her coat and crouched to hug Lily. Thank you for saving me tonight, she whispered. Lily giggled. Daddy saved you. I just shared bread. Ava stood, turning to Ethan. I don't know how to thank you. You already did, he replied. Just be kind to the next person who needs it. Ava hesitated, then asked, would it be all right if I kept in touch? Ethan smiled warmly. Of course. She gave him one last grateful look, like she was memorizing the moment, then stepped into her Blacktown car and disappeared into the night. Ethan didn't see Ava again for several weeks. But one afternoon, he picked Lily up from school to find her bouncing excitedly. Daddy! Daddy! Guess what? The school is getting a new playground. And they said someone donated it because kindness should always go forward. What does that mean? Before Ethan could answer, he noticed a sleek black car parked across the street. Ava stepped out, waving shyly. Ethan's heart warmed. She walked over and said softly, you told me to be kind to the next person who needed it, so I started with a few hundred kids. Ethan shook his head with a smile. You didn't have to do that. I know, Ava said. But kindness, it grows. You taught me that. Lily hugged her again. Are you staying for ice cream? Ava looked at Ethan with a hopeful smile. Yeah, he said. She's with us. Kindness doesn't need money. Kindness doesn't need status. Kindness happens when one human soul sees another and simply chooses to care. That night in the restaurant, Ethan didn't save Ava because she was wealthy, he saved her because she was hurting. And her gratitude didn't end with a thank you. She paid it forward in ways that touched hundreds of lives. Every act of kindness, big or small, creates a ripple. And sometimes, that ripple becomes a wave that changes everything. So today, be the reason someone feels seen. Be the moment someone finds hope. Because kindness, once shared, never stops moving.